After a week at work, all I really want to do is generally go outside my front door and look for photographs. Today, my little adventure begins in the town of Bridgewater, and letting the train take the strain, I ride to Oakhampton on the very edge of the Dartmoor National Park. But the question I keep asking myself is, why do I do it? When there is no guarantee I'll even get a decent photograph. Welcome back to Western Light. As I begin my hike and follow the pedestrian route to Dartmoor, I'm given a reminder of how hills and backpacks mix like a really bad cocktail. Through overgrown pathways and over the busy A30 to Cornwall, the traffic below giving the most noise I will hear for a day or so. And trying to avoid brambles, gorse, bracken and beasties, it wasn't long before my effort was rewarded with my first glimpse of the moor, where solitude and peace were to become welcome travelling companions. This small stone cross was allegedly placed by a man and wife as a thanksgiving, and to make it easier for others to navigate the moor. They had been pixie-led in the famous Dartmoor fog. They drank from the well close by, broke the spell, the fog lifted, and they continued upon their way. I hope I never need such charms. Finally, after passing the Oakhampton Army Camp and crossing Moor Brook, I can begin to see granite tors rising in the distance. But before I reach the first one, I pass some quizzical looking sheep who look at me with disdain. Road Tor, which I need to pass over, requires another lung busting climb, while trying not to break an ankle on the clitter surrounding it. The view up here is worth it though, and despite being easy to get to, it's one of my favourite tours. You can feel the moor up here, the openness and the solitude, despite being so close to the road. Its views are amazing. After descending, with Road Tor now behind me, I have West Mill Tor to my right and East Mill Tor to my left, and I'm stuck in the middle with a view. The view though is expansive, but what you're not seeing is how strength-sapping the military road can be. It goes onwards and upwards, then it goes upwards and onwards. It's a slog, and the only break in the silence is a sheep or a cow, except for the constant crunching of gravel. So, why do I do this? Well, before I have a chance to think of an answer, I see what I hope is my destination in the distance. But before I get there, I have to cross what would normally be one of the famous Dartmoor boggy areas. Thankfully, the recent dry spell has made the walk just acceptably tricky. The scale of the West Oakland Valley never ceases to take my breath away. Luckily, this time the valley doesn't need much help, as I haven't much breath in my lungs after the walk. But as I climb one final hill, the Tor opens up before me. I wanted to visit Lints Tor ever since I saw it likened to the Great Sphinx of Giza. I once had a holiday booked to visit Egypt, but following a terrorist attack spent a week on the Norfolk Broads instead. One person who wishes he was in Egypt was a member of the Dartmoor Rambling Club. Apparently in 1961, a huge piece of granite from the Tor fell on him, causing a serious hand injury. Allegedly, the rock was weakened by the army, who apparently had used the Tor for target practice. This image shows a little of the rock's detail. It struck me how the Sphinx has an almost leather-like skin. By the way, you can see a selection of pictures and thoughts from my films on my website. Details are in the description. This image uses the light and shadow of the sunset to show the size of the valley. In the distance, on the right, is Blackadder Copse, where I visited for my first film. Having hiked all the way from Oakhampton railway station, I think I deserve this tonight. It's not what I'd normally drink, but it'll do. Hopefully I'll see you in the morning, providing I'm not trampled by cows. Well, good morning everybody, it's Future Mike. I've managed to survive the night, I haven't been killed by cows, and I'm just about to have a coffee. It's 4:15, I've got to get everything packed away now, so I can get in position so that I can get pictures of sunrise. Hopefully hitting Lints Tor before I walk back to Oakhampton. After bundling my tent and sleeping bag in my rucksack, and of course making sure I have left zero trace of my being there, I was lucky to be greeted by Lints Tor just catching a little sun. But also in the valley a ribbon of mist was floating like the valley was exhaling its breath on a winter's morning. So hopefully that's the composition that I'm looking at. The rock on the left hand side in the bottom left hand corner is angling towards a Sphinx who's looking into the distance. I'm just praying I get a little bit of colour because it could look really good, and then I'll start the walk back. And with that, it was time to say goodbye and begin the long walk back. I wasn't looking forward to it, to be honest. I was silently fearful. It just seemed like a test of endurance. As I approached Dingle Tor, two giant diggers stared at me and reminded me of a story that I had read in my book, Dartmoor 365. A giant had lived at Dingle Tor with his 4 wives. But the 3 older wives were jealous of the youngest, so the giant moved her to a cave on the coast. She saved a ship from being wrecked by smugglers, and the grateful captain taught her how to make scones with clotted cream. The giant loved it so much he brought her back to Dingle Tor. The other wives became equally enchanted with the food, and together they supposedly opened the first cream tea cafe on the moor, giving rise to the fame of Devon cream teas. So according to the legend, Dingle Tor is where Devon cream teas began, with of course, cream first. Sadly the cafe is long gone, but I did get my very first letterbox, before grabbing a final image of Lints Tor in the distance, seen through the rock of Dingle Tor. Once more the military road greeted my feet by its accompanying crunch. As each step slipped by I returned to the question I posed myself. Why do I do this? Luckily I was accompanied by a tall person, but he didn't make much conversation. Before I realised I was back at the bottom of Rotor, watching dragonflies, grateful they were not real dragons. My final march was interrupted by sheep and a turbocharged deer attempting the land speed record. Not long after I opened the gate that signalled a return to civilization, or at least a return to Oakhampton, and finally settling into the cafe for a sold out cream tea, which sadly had become a bacon roll. So why do I do this? Why would anyone carry cameras, lenses, camping equipment, food, just to look like a geriatric tortoise? Well, it's not for the blisters, It's not even for the photos, although yes, they help. The reason is simple. It makes me feel part of the world, not just an observer. Is there anything you do that you just wonder why do you do it? Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.